Is that painful for a visionary leader?
It is.
To say slow down?
It is extremely painful. And yet, so you're describing something that's so critical for organizations, because visionary leadership sometimes can wear people out.
Welcome to the InitiativeOne Leadership Podcast, where we help leaders maximize their impact and transform their lives. I'm your host, Nighbor, as well as the VP of Strategic Partnership for InitiativeOne. And today we have Tracy Johnson with us here today. Tracy's our Chief Operating Officer for InitiativeOne, and she has been facilitating and leading individuals since 2006.
Yes.
Am I right?
Accurate.
Perfect. And in today's episode, let me start with this. Did you know that Dr. Fred Johnson and Dr. Paul Metler wrote a couple books? Did you know that? Because we're going to cover one of those here today. The first book that we're actually going to be talking about here today is called Is Everyone on the Boat? So whether you're watching this episode or you're listening to this on your favorite podcast channel, the book is called Is Everyone on the Boat? If you do not have this book, go on Amazon, purchase this book. We're going to be covering a couple of different, the different leaders that are described.
Let's call them characters in the book.
We'll call them characters.
Yes.
Thank you. So, and we're going to have some fun here today. So if you're listening, we're not going to put you to sleep, I promise. We're going to talk about the visionary leader. And this is the first leader that is described in this book here. So welcome to the show today, Tracy.
Thank you, Nick. Glad to be here with you.
Is everyone on the boat? There are multiple different, I'm not going to say leaders, because there's a couple that are leaders and there's a couple that are not. And the first character that is described is called the visionary leader. So Tracy, tell me, describe to me what a visionary leader is.
Yeah. You know, before we dive into that, I was just thinking as you were talking about these characters, is that most people think of leaders as a position or a title in an organization. And when I was introduced to Fred's work and Dr. Paul's work back in 2004, actually, it gave me a different frame of thinking about leadership across the organization. And so as we talk about all these characters, there are certain leaders in organizations that help us drive change, really make decisions in ways that bring the organization to greater success and greater impact. And so this notion of a visionary leader is not about someone in a specific position and title. Now, in the book, I was jokingly talking about characters because the character in the book, his name is Sam. Mm-hmm. And I love Sam. I would follow Sam to the moon. And I say that jokingly because Sam is Dr. Fred. Dr. Fred is our CEO and founder, and he does have the formal position and title, but he leads through his visionary capacity of seeing what's possible. It is what makes him such a great coach and such a great leader for our organization to help us push limits of where we think we're capable of leading to, and seeing what's very clear to him in a visionary capacity much further out in the future.
I like how you started with that. It doesn't necessarily need to be the leader of the organization.
Yes. You
can still be a visionary person and impact others no matter where you are in the organization.
Absolutely. The key to that, now there are a couple of nuances to that. People who are in the formal positions in that situation where you have somebody who is within the organization having that leadership or that visionary capacity and visionary leadership, they have to be secure in who they are. And today we talked about in our think tank that difference between a driven and deliberate leader. Well, to have a healthy organization and a visionary really succeed and flourish in a healthy organization requires the people around them to be very secure in who they are, and that self-belief is at the highest possible level. That's where magic happens.
What would you say are the strengths of a visionary leader? What do they bring to the organization?
Yeah, that great question. So visionary leaders, again, when you think about that visionary capacity, they have an amazing amount of energy and clarity around what the desired future is. They can paint a picture for the organization of something that others may not be able to see because of the noise. You've already talked about noise. Because of the noise around the organization, the operational items that we are weighed down with day in and day out. A visionary actually can cut through that very quickly and see not just the what and the how, but why we're going where we're headed, because they really see their motivation is about the glory, about being able to impact something bigger, greater beyond themselves.
So they have a big picture.
Yep.
They're like on purpose, or they know what their purpose is,
Yes.
perhaps, and they are excited to share it with others.
Yes, immense energy typically around a visionary leader, and their idea generation is continuous. And the reason it's continuous is because they love change. They love innovation. They love entrepreneurship. Oftentimes when you see entrepreneurs, or when we work with entrepreneurs who are visionary leaders, they have multiple really business lines working and operating. We were talking about that the other day in the office. You were describing one of your friends who is a serial entrepreneur, and he's had multiple successes because he has such clarity in what he's trying to accomplish. And that visionary leadership is required in greatness.
And I'm sure we all know someone that we can think of, right? You know, Dr. Fred's probably the best example for us. But, you know, think about this, you know, as you're listening to this, or as you're watching this, who in your life can you think of right now that is a visionary leader? Maybe you are. Maybe you have this big vision, this big picture of what you want. You're making an impact on other people, and maybe you might not be the visionary leader. That's okay. But who do you know who is? And if you see this in them, like, let them know that you see this in them, because they might not know. Are you satisfied with the current levels of accountability in your organization? Join us next month for our next leadership event, where we're discussing how you can energize your team through consensus-driven leadership. This event is our gift back to the community. Join us in person or online by registering at InitiativeOne.com. What are some things that maybe hurt a visionary leader?
Yeah, visionary leaders, because they're such big picture thinkers, the attention to the detail sometimes can be missed.
Okay.
And so in the keeping the eye on the prize, on that impact area, or in that area of success that they see an organization is capable of, or colleagues are capable of, they don't always think about all of the details that have to go on, and they can get frustrated by the pace of change of the rest of the organization, because they already see the organization there. They can already see it so clearly that they're like, we'll be there tomorrow. So they have a hard time, not just in details, but also that perception of time, how long it will take to get where they're casting that vision for.
Correct. So it might help to have someone that has a little bit better grasp of maybe the details and the plans and the processes, and then that could create for a winning combination.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
That is exactly what I'm saying. That is exactly what I'm saying. Sometimes visionary leaders, because of that big picture thinking and that intense focus and that passion to like drive change and be change agents, they can be a little bit of airheads, right? I mean, that's the detail part of it. And I think of Fred will talk about this openly, so I'm not saying anything about Fred that he would not say about himself. His attention to detail and not thinking through or not mapping out so that the rest of the team can keep up with him, that's not typically a visionary strength. Visionary strength is that big picture and that charisma, or that ability to bring people along with them on the ride. So Sam, the character in the book, is all about getting people on the boat because
Yes.
he is going somewhere terrific. And he can paint the picture, and he's got people piling into that boat, beginning to like say, bring us there, let's go, I can get behind this. And the capacity, a visionary's capacity, is rallying the troops in a very impactful way to begin driving that boat.
Yes. So I have two examples of visionary leaders that I can think of that most people know. Sam Walton of
Yes.
Walmart. Now, pay attention here. Sam Walton was a visionary,
Yes.
created Walmart. Who has not heard of Walmart? Everyone has. However, his brother Bud was a detail guy. So Sam and Bud working together, Bud would keep him in check, I guess you could say. As the brand was starting to grow, he would have to rein Sam in
Yes.
with that, which made for a winning combination. And then the other example that I have is Walt Disney and his
that's
brother Roy. So Walt, we all know, was a visionary. Look
Yep.
what he's created. And then his brother Roy was that person, like that Bud, for his brother to make sure, like, hey, let's not bite off more than we can chew.
Yeah.
Because you can build a company and bankrupt it if you don't have things in place to
Yes.
protect it.
Yes.
So it's, yes, you need a visionary leader, but you also need someone to rein it in a little bit,
Yeah.
which can probably be made. Is that painful for a visionary leader
It
to
is.
say slow down?
It is extremely painful, and yet so you're describing something that's so critical for organizations, because visionary leadership sometimes can wear people out. The idea after idea, the change process after change process, and we call that vision fatigue. And we've seen that going into organizations where you have a really creative, powerful, charismatic visionary leader, and yet the team never has the time or the level of detail that they need to get that idea implemented and off the ground. And so the visionary leader then moves too quickly. And so that really can wear a team out and create a sense of, it can create the opposite of accelerated change. It actually can create stagnation and resistance to change, because they don't want to hear about another idea. They want to be able to implement these great ideas that have come, 2 months ago or 6 months ago or a year ago.
Which makes knowing your purpose so important.
Yes.
Because if you know what it is, and the leaders of the organization and the people that are operating it, if they all know that, then you can
Yes.
move forward and be successful and make the impact that you want to make.
Yes, absolutely.
As visionary leaders, you've led, you've facilitated, you've counseled, done coaching with visionary leaders and other people that are not visionary leaders. What advice would you give someone that's listening right now? They fall into that bucket, they're a visionary leader. What would you share with them today?
I would say find that right partner. Find that balance that can put things into place as your ideas evolve. And keep dreaming, because without visionary leadership, innovation oftentimes will not occur. You've got to have people who can break through and be able to be in that creative space, that innovative space, that visionary space. And you have to let them be who they are and find that right balance of the team that can make those things happen.
And that's really cool to see here, because yes, Dr. Fred is a visionary, and we don't put him at the computer to work on Excel spreadsheets.
No.
That would be painful, probably.
Yes.
I'm assuming.
Yes.
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 So, whatever, we're gonna cover.
He would shrivel up and die inside. I don't know how
He would
else to
shrivel
say
up
that.
and die. I love that. I don't love that, but
That's what would happen.
that's what would happen.
When we try to stifle visionary leaders by knocking them down or shaming them or telling them we can't take it, that is not where a visionary leader leads at their best. You've got to give them space to be them and really create and think and be able to see the things that you can't see.
Correct. And how important is it to be able to identify who that person is and who are the other characters that we have in this book?
Yes.
The book is called Is Everyone on the Boat? It's written by Dr. Fred Johnson, Dr. Paul Metler. If you don't have the book, go on Amazon, pick it up, and then you can read this book as we start covering the different characters
Yes.
in the book. So again, Is Everyone on the Boat by Dr. Fred Johnson and Dr. Paul Metler. Tracy, thank you so much for sharing with us today.
You're welcome.
This has been great.
Excellent.
This has been great. If you are listening to this episode for the first time, go ahead and follow, subscribe on whatever podcast platform that you follow. If you love this episode, leave a rating, leave a review. That helps us impact more people. If you found value in this episode, go ahead and share this with one person. Go ahead and text that link to one of your friends and say, you got to listen to this. This is really, really great information. That's our goal, is we want to impact other people. And the best way we can do that is by talking a little bit about this book, having a conversation, and wanting to impact other people so they can live on purpose. Last thing that I want to mention is if you've not yet gone to our website is InitiativeOne.com. Every month we host a leadership event. It's called a think tank, and we cover topics that organizations are sometimes struggling with or things that they're having success with. We'd love to have you join us next month. Go to InitiativeOne.com and click register for the think tank, and you can attend either in person or online. We'd love to have you join us in the discussion, and we'd love to get your feedback on it as well. So thank you again so much for listening, and remember, leadership isn't what you do, it's who you are. Thanks for listening.